Inside Louisiana State Penitentiary, America's Angola Prison. In the heart of Louisiana lies a prison unlike any other in America. Known as Angola, this is the largest maximum security prison in the United States. Once a slave plantation, today it holds more than 5,000 men, many serving life without parole. Angola is a place where past and present collide, where inmates work the fields under watchtowers, and survival is a daily struggle. This is the story of Louisiana State Penitentiary. Chapter 1. From Plantation to Prison. To understand Angola, you must first understand its land. The Louisiana State Penitentiary sits on 18,000 acres of farmland, making it not only the largest prison in America, but one of the largest in the world. Its nickname, Angola, comes from the origin of the slaves who once worked the same soil, enslaved Africans brought from Angola, West Africa. The prison was literally built on top of a former plantation, and its history is soaked in that legacy. When the prison officially opened in 1901, it inherited not just the land, but also the brutal systems of forced labor that had defined it for centuries. Early inmates, many of them black men caught in the web of Jim Crow laws, were forced to live and work under conditions that closely mirrored slavery. They were shackled in fields, watched by armed guards on horseback. Punishments for disobedience were severe: whippings, beatings, and confinement in sweatbox cells. Throughout the 20th century, Angola gained a reputation as the bloodiest prison in America. Violence between inmates, abuse from guards, and horrific living conditions became routine. By the 1950s and 60s, reports described rampant stabbings, open gang warfare, and a prison hospital overflowing with victims of assaults. Guards often turned a blind eye, and corruption spread through every layer of the institution. In 1952, the brutality of Angola reached national headlines. 31 inmates slashed their own Achilles tendons with razors in protest of the relentless abuse and forced labor. They were known as the Heel String Gang, and their desperate act drew attention to the unimaginable conditions inside the prison. By the 1970s, Angola was considered an outright human rights crisis. Overcrowding, corruption, and violence defined every part of daily life. Inmates described Angola as a place where you either became predator or prey. A federal judge who visited the prison in the 1970s said it was a state of emergency and ruled that its conditions violated the Constitution's ban on cruel and unusual punishment. Yet, despite decades of reform attempts, the legacy of Angola's past remains visible even today. Inmates still work the fields, cultivating crops like corn, soybeans, and cotton. The image of men in matching uniforms bending over in long rows under the Louisiana sun while guards on horseback watch from above is eerily reminiscent of its plantation origins. But Angola isn't just about its history. It's about its people. The prison houses more than 5,000 men, most serving life sentences without parole. For many, Angola isn't just a prison. It's where they will live and die. And that reality has shaped a prison culture unlike any other in America. From prison rodeos to inmate-run churches, Angola is a place of contradictions, where hope and despair exist side by side. It is both a working farm and a maximum security fortress, a symbol of America's toughest sentencing policies and a reminder of its deepest racial wounds. As we step further inside, we'll see not only the routines of daily life, but also the psychological battles, survival tactics, and human stories that make Angola one of the most infamous prisons in the world. Life inside Angola. Daily routines and survival. Step inside Angola today, and you'll see a prison that functions like a city. Except it is a city built on punishment. With over 5,000 inmates spread across 6 large camps, Angola is bigger than some small towns. It has its own zip code, its own fire department, and even its own airstrip. But make no mistake, this is a maximum security prison, and everything inside operates under the shadow of control. The daily routine at Angola begins before dawn. Inmates wake at 5:30 a.m. to the blare of whistles and the heavy clang of doors. Breakfast is served in mess halls or delivered to work crews, and by 6 o'clock a.m., thousands of men are already moving out to the fields. Angola is not just a prison, it's also a working farm. Inmates cultivate thousands of acres of crops: corn, soybeans, wheat, and cotton. Others tend to herds of cattle or work in workshops that produce everything from license plates to furniture. The image is striking. Rows of men in matching uniforms, bent over in the Louisiana heat, guarded by officers on horseback with rifles in hand. For many observers, it is a haunting echo of the prison's plantation roots. Not every inmate works the fields. Some are assigned to kitchens, laundry, maintenance, or the prison hospital. But for those sent to agricultural duty, the labor is grueling. Louisiana summers are brutal, and the fields stretch endlessly across Angola's 18,000 acres. Guards on horseback patrol constantly, a reminder that no one can rest without permission. Inside the housing units, life is no less harsh. Violence remains a constant threat. Angola has a long history of stabbings, assaults, and gang rivalries. Although officials claim security has improved in recent years, many inmates describe an environment where trust is rare and fear is constant. Survival often depends on forming alliances, whether through gangs, religious groups, or older inmates who provide protection. The prison also has its own peculiar traditions. One of the most famous is the Angola Prison Rodeo, first established in 1965. Dubbed the wildest show in the South, the rodeo is a public event where inmates compete in dangerous rodeo events, bull riding, bronco busting, and a notorious game called convict poker, where men sit at a card table while a bull is released and the last man sitting wins. For some inmates, the rodeo is a chance to prove toughness. For others, it's a rare break from monotony. For the public, it has become both a spectacle and a window into Angola's world. Yet beneath the rodeo's spectacle, Angola remains a place of despair. Roughly 3 out of 4 inmates here are serving life without parole. That means for most men, Angola is not a stop on the way home. It is their final destination. Many will die behind its walls, and the prison even has its own cemetery, where unclaimed bodies are buried beneath simple wooden crosses. Despite the hopelessness, some inmates have sought meaning within Angola's fences. Over the years, religious groups have established strong presences inside the prison, including inmate-led churches and even a seminary program. For some, faith provides a lifeline in an otherwise endless sentence. Others turn to art, music, or writing as ways to cope with confinement. But the reality of Angola cannot be ignored. It is a prison shaped by its past, defined by its size, and driven by a culture where discipline is enforced through work, fear, and routine. For critics, Angola represents the dark intersection of race, history, and justice in America. For defenders, it is simply the only way to control thousands of dangerous men. Either way, life inside Angola is unlike life in any other prison in the United States. It is not just confinement. It is a world of labor, violence, and survival, built on the soil of a plantation where human suffering has always been currency. Louisiana State Penitentiary, better known as Angola, is more than a prison. It is a reflection of America's past, a symbol of its toughest justice, and a place where men live and die in the shadow of history. For the thousands serving life within its walls, freedom is a dream that will never come. For the rest of us, Angola stands as a reminder of the thin line between justice, punishment, and humanity.